The honor of the family lives in the woman, specifically in between her legs or in her body. And so a woman could do anything. It could be showing a piece of hair, it could be showing an arm, it could be talking to a stranger, it could be leaving the boundaries of the home unpermitted. It could be any number of things that a woman could do and offend the honor of the family. So in that case, the family members of that woman's, mostly it happens with brothers and fathers and uncles, they can kill the woman in the name of honor. So this is practiced very, very, it's so unfortunate that it's practiced until today. Last year in 2021, there were 478 cases of honor killing in Pakistan reported. And that is just the reported cases. And this is seen as a very personal, very family bound issue. So families don't really take this out. And it's estimated that the cases are more. There are more than 2,000-3,000 cases a year of honor killing. So this is just such a big disease, and it's really important for all of us to talk about these issues as women and to say that this shouldn't exist anymore. It should not exist anymore.
You're listening to Power Femme Radio. This is a podcast where ladies come together and try to share their opinions and empower each other to be better women in society.
Did he just say try? You're listening to Power Femme, where women don't try, we do. Hi guys, today I am interviewing Saleha. Saleha was born in Pakistan and moved to the States at the age of 13. She's the first woman in her family to pursue an education and career. After achieving great success in grad school, Saleha spent 10 years in the finance and entrepreneurship space, growing 2 tech companies and even holding the title of CFO. She was married and divorced at an early age, which she says led to her ascension journey. She's a women's rights activist on a mission to liberate oppressed women around the world. She's a clairvoyant and visionary whose calling is to focus on the heavy weight that is pulling down the rise of the divine feminine. Okay, Saleha, welcome to the Power Femme podcast. I'm so excited to meet you. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here as well.
Oh my gosh, you just have like the most calming, relaxing energy to you. I mean, even when I was introduced to you, you were just like, Sister Heidi, Satnam, greetings, good to meet you. And I'm just like, wow, love her already. Well, do you wake up every day with like an intention?
I wake up every day holding my heart and my womb and saying thanks. It's a great practice for me to remember that I've been given another day, that I've been given another opportunity to live my dharma, and I'm just really grateful to have that opportunity here.
Okay, I'm excited. So we're going to open up the episode with 2 truths and a lie as a way to just kind of get the conversation going. I have a feeling you're going to really surprise us. So why don't we start with 3 statements? 2 of them can be true, and 1 of them has to be a lie, and I will have to guess which one is the lie.
Great. Awesome. I'm ready.
Okay, great. Let's do it. What do you got?
All right. Statement number 1, I skydive.
Regularly?
Yes.
Okay.
Statement number 2, I paraglide.
What is paragliding?
It's when you have a glide over your shoulders and you just like shoot off of a mountain and you're just flying in the air.
Wow. Okay. All right.
And the 3rd is that I have my flying license and I can fly a plane. Yes.
Okay. So you skydive regularly, you paraglide regularly, or you have your flying license.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't skydive regularly.
Wrong.
Oh, really? You do regularly?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I went skydiving one time and it was like literally the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. Yes, but I won't go again.
Why?
Because I'm like, I'll jump out of a plane once, but I'm not doing it twice.
The first time I did it was on my 25th birthday. And I told my dad, I was like, Baba, I'm going skydiving. It was at Lake Elsinore. And he was like, no, 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 you want to die on your 25th birthday? You're not going to do that. I was like, please. And my oldest brother is in the army. And he was like, he's in the Pakistani army. And he was like, oh, yeah, I've done all these, jumps in my training. And it's supposed to be for like a tough man. And you don't have any training. How are you going to do this? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Okay. And that morning, like I had to, getting permission from my father and my brothers was so hard. I had like cried. I was like, because I really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And ever since my first dive, like it's so freeing, and it's such an empowering experience. You see the world and the earth from the lens of a hawk, of a bird, and it just feels great. So
yeah. Gosh, I did not ask my parents for permission. I didn't even tell them I was jumping out of the plane. I was like, bye, and I just jumped right on off. But okay, great.
Good for you.
I mean, it was very exhilarating. Like I feel like I realized that we make up a lot in our head, like how a situation's gonna go. And like for me, my realization was that fear is such a lie. Like it's just this made up thing in our head. And like it was like, for me, I was like, what was there to even be scared of? I mean, obviously potentially dying, but
right.
So you jump regularly now.
Yeah.
How many times have you been skydiving?
I think in the 20s now. I'm somewhere in the 20s.
Wow.
I want to do more. We were in Turkey earlier this summer with my partner Patrick, and we went paragliding, and that was an exhilarating experience too. That was so great.
Wow.
I like love it. I love being in the air. I love flying, and I feel like remembrance of flight is like an important part of my journey, because the only reason we don't know or think that we don't know how to fly is because we're conditioned to only walk.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So like you'll see it in like the collective consciousness too. We only do the things that we think we are capable of. Yeah. And when somebody does something or wants to do something that is, unheard of, people all of a sudden, the first reaction and a really powerful reaction is, oh, but that's not possible.
Right.
But I think that it's just a game of remembrance, and I'm getting there.
I would love to hear a little bit around your backstory of like maybe where you started.
Yeah. And
kind of how you got to this place of feeling like I can fly. Right?
The key word there is, how did I get to a place where I can fly? Whereas I have always been in the place where I know that I swim and fly and grow and commune with nature in all ways. I remember when I was born, like I was just fascinated with like everything and like nature, and like just like the most joyful, bubbly kid, and that knowingness has always been present with me. And after all of the things that culture, religion, and society has like told me of what the truth is, it just has not been convincing enough for me. It hasn't convinced me that that's the truth. It never did. And I always kind of had this perseverance, this like inner knowing that, there's like more, like there's so much more than what is being told to me. And so it's always been present.
So at what point did you feel like someone was putting like that mask on you, or that like, you know what I mean, that net over you to be able to fly? Like you knew within you that I can fly, I can swim, I'm capable of these things.
Yeah.
But at what point was there contrast for you?
Always. Like always.
Does this come from like
till this day?
Yeah. People are still trying to tell you.
Well, in Pakistani culture and in the family that I come from, the ideals and the values of a family are really, really important. We safeguard the values. We keep everyone in the role that they are meant to play. And so as a girl child, I was meant to play the role of taking care of the home and taking care of my brothers and taking care of my father and being very respectful. And my family also raised me as a Muslim child. So I was to be a devout Muslim to God, to Allah. And so all of these, like I was a very obedient child and I was a very devout Muslim until the age of 18. And I took all of these teachings really seriously. I remember waking up early in the morning at the break of dawn and praying Fajr with my dad and my mom, and walking on the grass and doing zikr, which is like praying, just like on a tasbih like I'm wearing right now, praying God's names, praying prayers. And I remember doing that at a very, very early age because, I don't know, it just felt so good and it like was like a really great vibration. But what didn't settle with me was like these things like, oh, you can do this, but you can't do that.
What was an example of that?
An example of that is that I could never really go out without my brothers or my family. Growing up as, you know, in 7th grade, 8th grade, like all of my friends were getting together. My brothers were off in university at the time. They were in different cities. They had all this liberty, and like my dad was buying them bikes and cars, and they could do all these things. And I couldn't even go to a friend's home for like a game night or a get together. And I would just be like, that's not fair. And something that I noticed, one of the first things that I noticed in our household that didn't settle with me and kind of started this little in the back of my head, this curiosity, was that my mother would set the table and serve food to my dad. My dad would sit and my brothers would sit, and like whenever she needed help to bring out bread or a drink or whatever, she would call on my name or my sister's name. It wasn't ever my brother's name. Like they were always sitting and we were the ones who were serving them. And I would just be like, but why? Like I just want to sit and like also be served, you know, which my parents really spoiled me. I've been spoon fed and I'm really grateful. But at the same time, it was kind of just like, well, but why does he get treated different than me?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Did you find yourself asking those questions as a child?
Yeah, definitely.
Were your parents surprised by that?
They, I think they were offended by it.
Really?
They would be like, this is how you're meant to be, you're a girl, and don't be concerned of how he is. That's his path. Just stay concerned with what your path is as a girl.
Wow. Where does this idea of feminine ascension come from? Like, where was that born in you? At what point was that idea born in you?
I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
So after I graduated Berkeley in 2013, my heart really wanted to explore the world, and Europe was calling me. And before that time, I'd never really traveled without family before. And I wanted to take this journey on my own. So I just paved a new path for myself, found a job in Ireland, and took a flight and went to Dublin. And I remember being on one of the first trips in Ireland, exploring the mountains and the cliffs of Moher. Specifically, I was sitting on the edge of the cliffs of Moher one afternoon, and it was cloudy, and the ocean was so loud. It was like pa 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 pa, you know, bursting in front of these huge, tall cliffs. And I was sitting and I was touching the mountain, and I was just sitting there, and all of a sudden, I had this profound feeling, a present, felt sense of women behind me, a pyramid of women behind me. And I remember looking back and seeing, and there was just, you know, the wind and the sky. But the presence of the woman behind me stayed with me. And in that moment, something connected within me that was like, wow, I am not seeing this view for the first time. They are all seeing this together through my eyes for the first time.
Wow.
And so from that moment onward, I continued to listen to, okay, what else do you want to experience? What else do I want to experience? And those desires kept coming forward, and I acknowledged that some of these desires are not just mine. They are the desires of the women before me in my lineage who have prayed for me to have this freedom, for me to have this lifetime to do all that they perhaps at some point dreamed of. And so I'm really grateful that I get to be the one who is experiencing it through my body, and they're experiencing it through my body. And so when I experience something, my experience is really, really deep and profound of everything, because, and it's multidimensional, and I understand that. And a lot of times I get this question from my students, from the women that come to me for guidance. They ask me, Saleha, how do you do this alone? How do you take such courageous steps? How do you just, like, you don't have fear of abandonment from the family? Like, you don't have fear of, being alone or being seen like as this like shameful, like, someone who is just completely, all the labels that I've been that come to me as their defense mechanism. And my response naturally is, because I'm never alone.
Wow. So you're like channeling many generations of women before you, essentially.
Yeah.
And do you feel that like you are so open as a result of your practice and like being in nature and prayer and like affirmations and all that? Do you feel like that has anything to do with like your receptivity from past lives?
You asked me how am I able to channel? Mm-hmm. And the answer is that it depends on the conviction of the soul. When you know the truth and you are committed to pursuing the truth, then practices come, messages come, teachers come, opportunities come, and you expand in ways that you probably didn't even have the imagination of before. So having the knowledge, and in today's world, we all have access to knowledge. What I'm seeing and what I help my clients with is to integrate the knowledge, to really find that sense of commitment. Because a lot of us are finding ourselves in different directions. There's a multitude of distractions for us. There's so many paths that we can take. Mm-hmm. There's so many ways that we can identify. There's so many, languages. There's just insane amount of plethora of everything in the world. And so how do you really actually ground down in who you are? How do you open your own channel? How do you open your own infinite potential? It happens by bringing into alignment the 4 elements of your own nature. Number 1 is your mind. Number 2 is your physical energies. Number 3 is your soul. And number 4 is your body, the physical flesh of the body. So having all these 4 in one direction will allow you to pursue that direction. If your physical body is like, oh, I'm still in, coping mechanisms, I'm still in defense mechanisms, I'm still leaving my body at times, right? I'm still not fully aware of where and how I'm carrying my body. And then your mind has thoughts that are unwelcomed, or thoughts that you don't really fully understand or appreciate or acknowledge, so they keep coming back. Then your energies are mixed up. Energies can signal you of misalignment in your digestion not being right, your head being foggy, your being a little too lazy, being a little too energetic, spurts of excitement, spurts of self pity, etc. And then your soul is always here, and it will tell you when you're not aligned by letting you know that, like, it comes in very, very subtle signs. It shows you, your soul shows you you're meant for something more. And so in those moments, it's really important to recognize the misalignment, to acknowledge the misalignment, to take time alone in solitude. What I see a lot of people do is they ask for guidance, but from people.
And do you think that people should be asking for guidance from their higher self or within, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you ask guidance from within.
Wow.
And that's
so
why
you
solitude
have
is
all
really
the
important.
answers
Absolutely.
to everything. You
Yeah.
believe that every single answer that you could ever need is within yourself.
Yes. It's important to understand that within is not just me as Saleha, you as Heidi. That within has access to all universe. That within is one with all beings alive now on all timelines. So when we talk about the answers are within, some people misunderstand. Oh, okay, what my mind is saying, that must be right.
Mm-hmm.
No, it ain't the mind. Okay, the mind is just a tool of attraction.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this episode so far. I just wanted to interrupt for one quick second because I have to tell you about the Breath Channel. What is the Breath Channel, you ask? Well, the Breath Channel is a breathwork and meditation and embodiment membership. It's a donation-based monthly membership full of exercises, practices, tools, and training for you to release stress, gain energy, get grounded, feel peace, calm, and reach your peak state. This is a community of people who are moving toward vitality, aliveness, connection, more self-acceptance, self-love, and have the common goal of feeling better in their day-to-day lives. You guys, I've had so many noticeable shifts in my life in the way that I communicate with myself and the way that I understand myself, in the way that I'm showing up with other people, with my team, with my friends, and my relationships. And this has been probably the most helpful tool in allowing me to overcome any anxiety that's been holding me back, especially in this hard season of my life where I'm changing careers, I've lost a parent, life's been crazy, it feels like the weight of the world is on me, I feel like I'm showing up so huge in so many different ways, and the imposter syndrome can be so loud. Some mornings I wake up and I just feel so defeated. And I know that that's like probably surprising for you to hear, but it's true. Sometimes I just feel so defeated. And the one thing that I can always count on is the Breath Channel. It doesn't matter if I don't have a direction for my day, if I don't know what I'm going to be doing. All I have to do is click a button, get on my phone, click a button, and literally at my fingertips, there's 52 breathwork exercises that I can choose from to help get me in a better mood. One thing is for sure, I always feel better after a few minutes of breath work. And Stevie, she does such a wonderful job of guiding me through the experience and really just making me feel so at peace in my body. The Breath Channel might be the most magical way to start your mornings. And I say that because she literally has a practice called Breathwork for Magic Mornings. With over 50 breathwork videos, the Breath Channel gives you so many options to choose from. There's breathwork for abundance, healing anxiety, clarity, energy, emotional eating, and period pain. Oh yeah, I said it, period pain. Not to mention my personal faves, breathwork for feminine embodiment and breathwork for manifestation. It's truly so powerful. After I complete these breathworks, I literally feel like $1,000,000. If you are someone who's been struggling to hit their morning routine and you feel like you need a little extra accountability, consider signing up for the Breath Channel today. I have a link below in the show notes just for you. If you click that link, it'll take you to the Breath Channel where you can sign up and get your membership. Like I said, it is donation based. I believe it starts at $20. Honestly, in my opinion, the best $20 you will ever spend. But if you feel like maybe that's not doable for you right now, no worries. You have the option to donate less. And if you feel so abundant, you can donate more. Don't worry about breaking the bank so that you can start to feel better in your body today. No, own your power now. Head on over to the Breath Channel, make a donation, and commit to your daily practice of connecting to your breath. I know it's going to make a difference in your life. I love you, and let's get back to the episode.
I'll tell you my story of how I came to ask for guidance. In 2017, I was doing women's rights work in Pakistan. I had left my life in LA, and I was like, you know what? Like, I need to really find the love. And so I was in Pakistan, and an event happened. I offended my brother and the men of the society, and my brother came home with like 2 family swords to kill me. And I escaped by jumping out of a window with my passport and my phone, and somehow made it to the airport and flew out.
Oh my God.
So after that happened, I was just like, why?
Wait, hold on. Okay, because why? Wait, why? Why? What offended him? What happened?
Do you know what honor killing is?
No, I do not. Did your parents know that you were in Pakistan doing?
Yeah, I was living with my dad. My father was there trying to protect me.
Cute. So at least they're on board. They're on board for you, like doing activism and.
I'm so grateful for my dad,
wow.
Even though he doesn't understand. And he is fighting all of these pressures from the society against me. He is just such a source of light and support for me. And
wow.
I love my dad.
So what led to your brother wanting to kill you?
This is a really big part of my activism, to let people know what honor killing is. It is prevalent in South Asia, especially in the nations of Pakistan, Afghanistan, and now Iran too. Honor killing is a concept in Muslim states. What it says is that the honor of the family lives in the woman, specifically in between her legs or in her body. And so a woman could do anything. It could be showing a piece of hair, it could be showing an arm, it could be talking to a stranger, it could be leaving the boundaries of the home unpermitted. It could be any number of things that a woman could do and offend the honor of the family. So in that case, the family members of that woman's, mostly it happens with brothers and fathers and uncles, they can kill the woman in the name of honor. So this is practiced very, very, it's so unfortunate that it's practiced until today. Last year in 2021, there were 478 cases of honor killing in Pakistan reported. And that is just the reported cases. And this is seen as a very personal, very family bound issue. So families don't really take this out. And it's estimated that the cases are more. There are more than 2,000-3,000 cases a year of honor killing. And one of the biggest women in Pakistan who was killed in the name of honor was in 2016. Her name was Qandil Baloch. She was the rising social media star, the Kim Kardashian of Pakistan, and she was doing incredible work of like just being an embodied goddess and like fearless. And the brother that she was paying, his education, his living, all of that stuff, strangled her and killed her and came forward and said, well, I couldn't take it anymore. She was not an honorable woman. And this happens time and time again. And there's a loophole in the law against a person who murders in the name of honor. The loophole is that the family can forgive the murderer, the honor killer, and they'll go free. And that's what happens. That man, Qandil Baloch's brother, was he came out free out of the jail, even though it was like a really big media case. Nothing happened with my brother. even though like I'm so grateful I'm alive. And there's still every other month there's like cases over cases over cases of women who are killed by their husbands, who are killed by their brothers. The last, I think this was this earlier this summer, there was a young woman here in America who shared her story on TikTok, and she was murdered by her husband too, in the name of honor. So this is just such a big disease, and it's really important for all of us to talk about these issues as women, and to say that this shouldn't exist anymore. It should not exist anymore.
Saleha, you are so brave. Like, even I like recognize that even you talking against this on a podcast that is being video recorded and will go on the internet, like, is that dangerous for you?
You know, a few years ago, I would think that it is, but I'm really, really proud and very, very happy. Thank you for this opportunity to talk about it. I mean, it's so important to tell people of the West, because there's a lot of power, a lot of money, a lot of influence in the West.
Yeah.
And the women of the East and South don't really have those resources. So I'm just so grateful to be here and to be speaking on behalf of all of my sisters, that we say no more violence against us.
Wow. Do you talk to your brother?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I gotta tell you. I mean, my sister has tried to kill me, no doubt, but it wasn't like in that kind of a context at all. It was like probably over a shirt that like we were fighting over.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would talk to my brother. So, okay.
Because forgiveness is really important.
That is powerful. I mean, that is wow.
I love him, and I will continue to love him and hold his highest self to the day that, you know, it's up to him. You know, all of us get a free will. It's really up to him to do the work, but my work is not to be resentful or to hold him accountable or anything like that. It took me years to get over it. It took me years of, you know, ho'oponopono and forgiveness practice and cutting cords and just like forgiving him over and over and over and over again, and not just forgiving him, but forgiving all men who do all these atrocities on all of us over and over again. It is important because I must be free.
Yeah.
As long as I do not forgive him, I am not free. I'm trapped in that really, really dense energy of a vengeance, and that is not an energy of love. Yeah.
How has this affected your relationship, like with your partner and trusting men?
I gave up on men several times.
Uh-huh.
I was like,
I imagine.
I was even heartbroken by my baba, about my dad, several times. And what I realized is that the more that I was heartbroken by men, the more energy I was giving away, and the less I was in my power. And so I was kind of like, okay, you know what? Men not my concern. None of it is my concern. And so I just like fully like committed to myself. So after I escaped that whole situation and flew out of Pakistan, universe guided me to Budapest in Hungary. And I was so fortunate to have this beautiful, beautiful apartment. I'll show you pictures of it afterwards. Like, I just lived like a queen in a palace for a year with nothing to do. And my only concern was to love myself. That was my full focus, to give myself the time. And I was in a lot of pain. And I kept asking myself, why? So we're coming back to that question of how do we arrive at guidance? How do we ask guidance from within? And what I've learned, and I'm so grateful to be guided by nature, I was just guided to ask. I was literally just in my apartment asking the air, why Show me why. Show me why I have seen all that I have seen. Show me why you've given me this life. Show me why in exchange for love I have received hate and cruelty and names and labels and prison. Why? Why am I alone? Why am I here? Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. And I kept asking, I kept asking, I kept asking. I asked the air, I asked the sky, I asked the water, I asked the mountain, I asked the leaves, I asked the plants, I asked the flowers. I asked and I asked and I asked and I asked. And I knew that the answer would arrive. I started to have astral experiences, outer body experiences. I started to commune to beings where we do not need language, where a single second of a connection is enough to download years of information, where me just, receiving these visions was so profoundly healing for me. It all made so much sense to me. And so if you're looking for guidance in your life, if you are searching for purpose, if you are asking, why am I experiencing this? What is here for me to learn? Ask in solitude, and the answer will arrive. It'll arrive in the most unexpected ways, and it will not arrive in the timeline that you want it to. Just continue to ask with conviction. Conviction and pursuit, I've seen, are two very, 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 very main elements of a intention that will lead you to ascension.
Wow. I'm blown away right now. Wow, Saleha. Oh my gosh. Do you believe in manifestation?
What do you mean by manifestation?
Like, do you believe that we are conscious and absolutely responsible creators of our lives?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think that you can, really create every single detail of your life or call in specific things?
Absolutely.
What is something that you have been wanting to manifest your whole life?
My whole life.
Is there something that you've wanted that's
so much. This moment right now is a manifestation.
It is. For me, it is, for sure.
For me, it is too. To be able to speak, to be able to share my message, yeah. Something that I wanted all my life. So this is kind of taking me, the story continues. So when I gave up on men, and I was in solitude in Budapest, I was my focus is me, that's it, And 3 years later, 3 years of continuous focus on myself and building myself, and I lost my ways so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And, got here and there, swayed here and there so many times.
Right, but it all led you to...
It all led me to a night where, my heart was again, I was in Los Angeles and my heart was go to Budapest. And I was what? And it was just just go to Budapest. And I was what the hell? Okay, fine. I'll book a flight, go to Budapest. And the first night that I'm in Budapest, I meet my soulmate.
Wow.
My biggest manifestation come true, exactly when I arrived at this very unattached place, full place of me being who I am and not needing or desiring anything outside of me. Universe was here you go. You've been wanting it. And I've dreamt of him when I was 12, 13, when you get your first period and you're what are boys and stuff like that.
Yes.
And it was everything that he is. From the details to the color of his eye, to the way that he talks, to the way that he loves me, to his height, every single thing. It's incredible.
Wow.
So my biggest proof of manifestation is love in my life.
So what was told to you, or what was the expectation that your parents had for your love life?
it was kind of like, she'll find a really good guy with a good family who'll take care of her, and she'll get married. And I've just been breaking all of those from a very young age.
Well, I know you mentioned that you were married and divorced very early.
Yes.
So what was that marriage like?
So I want to bring the attention to the concept of the enormity of early marriages in South Asian culture.
Yeah.
It's looked highly, it's regarded very highly to marry a young girl. They say that if you marry a young girl, you can mold her in the way that you want to. If you marry a young girl, she won't have a sense of herself, so that her whole identity will then become the sense of the house and what the man wants her to be. So a lot of girls are, just born, just taught to and trained to be married at a young age. I have so many friends from back when I was in school in Pakistan, from university in Berkeley, like, who just got married super young. And
how young are we talking?
We're talking 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. When you're 22, they're like, oh shit, you really gotta get a man right now.
Wow. Oh man, I'm up there. I'm old.
You and me both.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm from the South, like Georgia, and like I thought my friends were getting married young there. You know what I mean? But like that's very, very young. 16. So how old were you when you got married?
I was 19.
Wow.
Going on 20. I was 19 when I was engaged.
And how old was your husband?
He was, I think, 5-6 years older than me.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a really crazy situation. I was not allowed to have a boyfriend, because as a Muslim girl, you're not allowed to.
So you just have to marry right away?
Yeah, and you have to stay a virgin until you get married. Yeah, you get more gold at marriage if you're a virgin.
Wow.
I don't know how the hell they're measuring that, but whatever.
I know. How would they know?
Yeah, how would they know? But it's all about carrying. They put, so in South Asian culture, we put a lot of value on the way that we are brought up, our manners, how we take care of the family, how the woman shows up for the family. The woman has to, press her husband's clothes and wake up before him and do all the things for his parents and do all the things for her kids. And it's just absurd. It takes so much away from the woman herself. After my statistical study in Pakistan in 2017, I realized that over 98% of women are just dead weight. And it hurts me to say this, but why do I say that they're dead weight? Because if they are not contributing to their own growth and their own ascension, then they're not contributing anything to the world.
Wow, you guys heard that. She just said if you're not contributing to yourself and your own ascension, you are not contributing to the world.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on how taking care of yourself and your own evolution and stepping outside of your comfort zone and really advocating for yourself ends up making the world a better place?
Think of our whole humanity, animal kingdom, oceans, the whole earth as a body, like your body. If a cell in your body is functioning the way that it's meant to function perfectly as a cell, you're healthy, right? And you have millions of cells in your body. So if that just one cell within your body starts to function abnormally than what it is meant to, what becomes of it?
Cancer?
Yes, and it can kill you. So the same in the whole earth, let's just focus on earth, we have the responsibility to function as the best of ourselves, to be the best of ourselves. And when we do that, all of earth is happy and healthy. But if we begin to behave in ways that is not healthy and not in ourselves, then what we're seeing on Earth happening, the massive destruction, that's what happens. Climate change, that's what happens. And it's so ridiculous. This conditioning has to be obliterated, that there's something innately wrong with human beings. There's something innately wrong with society, that we must be controlled, that we must be given a path, that we must be given direction. I mean, all of this stuff is the foundation of us not functioning in the right way, not feeling like we can take care of ourselves. Because from the moment that we're born, we're said, oh, well, you don't know anything. We know stuff. So here's all the stuff. This is how you get to learn and know things. But actually, that's all false, because we know, we are born with all the knowledge. Like, when you don't teach a child to cry for a mother's milk. The child knows, because it's asking.
Right, it's intuitive, it's in your nature. It's like, I've heard this before, that we're born knowing, and that growing up becomes a process of conditioning. And it's funny, I was a life coach for a few years as well, and a lot of my clients were like, well, I was brought up and I was raised this way, and like now I'm literally, like, I spent my whole life trying to be a certain way, and now I'm busy unlearning everything that I learned. It is crazy. It's like, I think like personal ascension is a process of unlearning.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I have a quote from you, something that you posted on Instagram I thought was beautiful. I'm going to read it here.
Yeah.
Saleha 111, by the way, if you want to follow her on Instagram. This
Thank
is what
you.
she says. She says, "Are you brave enough to detach from all that defines you? Once you willingly pass the gates of detachment, you will find your true essence enveloped in pure prana innocence. It is in this innocence that you will reconnect with your sense of infinite wonder, joy, and fascination with this life." These photos, which she was posting, are from an era from before my deliberate detachment from it all. I am now more than I ever have been. I am pure innocence, now closer to how I was born as a soul. Oh, how in unbecoming we become one with all. I desire this joy for you. And do you desire you?
Do you desire you?
Oh my God. Do I desire me? Yes, I do. I do. Like, I mean, I think especially lately, like, I'm in a totally new chapter in my life where I'm unlearning everything that I learned too. Like, I'm just, everything that I've been told I can or can't do, I'm really questioning. What would you say are some good practices to help our listeners and just women get into solitude and create a space where they can start to detach from it all?
A great detachment practice that you can do it at home, and this is actually really powerful beginner's practice. Before you go to sleep, think of your name, your identity, all that you call yourself, all that you take pride in, all that you want, all that you probably don't like about yourself, and just imagine putting that on your side table. Your name, your titles, your work, what you want, what you don't want, what you don't like, whatever is intuitively coming to you in that moment, take that, and then you can use your hands to pull it out of your body and put that on your nightstand next to the bed. And take a second to yourself and say, I am not Saleha. I am not even this body. I am not even here. And then you can go to sleep. This practice will show you a lot in your dreams. It will show you a lot of attachment styles. It will show you a lot of beliefs. It will show you a lot of the clutter that you want to clear out. It's a great practice, and if you do this every day for 40 days, you'll start to feel this heightened sense of self-worth and heightened sense of self-knowing beyond what your name and who you think you are.
Why do you think that that's important?
It's important because it blinds us to the truth. It keeps us in this illusion that I'm just me. Whereas I'm not just me, I am everything. I am connected to all. And that is the basis of the lack and scarcity consciousness. Right? Which a lot of us operate from. Oh, it's just me. Only I can take care of myself. Only I get to hold myself, I get to do this, otherwise what's going to happen,
Yeah, and there really is no separation. Like, we are the universe. We are all one. And so whenever you think you're alone, really you're being held by a loving universe.
Yes. But that your mind is really powerful. So if you think you are alone, you will create situations where you will be alone, where you will block out resources coming to you, support coming to you.
Yeah, and I feel like that practice could really just allow you, after some time, like 40 days, like you said, that allows you to I don't even want to say create a new version of yourself, but like just discover a new potential for yourself.
Yeah. What it'll bring up is, oh, like I really like attach myself to this a lot. And then you can start to think, like, was that my choice to be this?
Ooh.
Has this always been my choice, or did I choose it because I thought that I would be worthy, or looked at respectfully, or earn this much money, or whatever it is that you want to get out of that attachment? It's just a great way to start a train of self-inquiry.
I feel like we could seriously talk for a very, very long time, but something that I do feel responsible to share with our listeners today is, how can liberated women begin to build that bridge for women who are oppressed and unable to use their voice and speak up for themselves?
Listen to them. Hold space for them. I show up in a lot of spiritual communities and high vibe communities, and as a woman of color, sometimes I'm the only one there, or two or three, and it's very rare that someone would come up and really welcome me into this space. Wow. So if you have privilege and liberty in your life, take the time to make connections with women who are still in their struggle, who are striving, who are wanting more freedom and liberation. You can find them online. Just like start to have a conversation. Yeah. Because there's a lot of friction.
Totally.
Between women. So creating a pure womb-to-womb connection. Just like anyone. Asking them questions. If there's a resource that helps you, share that resource. Like today, what we're doing here, you calling me in and us talking about topics that are like not really talked about openly, and don't really have that much space, and that's a really, really great step of support. So thank you.
Oh my God, of course. Well, I do feel like, I feel like, I can only speak for myself, right? Like I'm a white woman born in America, in Atlanta, Georgia, a very Republican state now, was recently turned blue in the last presidential election, but I can only speak from my experience and my environment that I grew up with. There's no education around this. I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, I would assume that people have no idea what's going on in another country or what's going on with another person's religion. And a lot of people are so tied to their idea of what they think God is and the universe and how things are going to work. And I just really think that we need to start looking at the things that are uncomfortable to look at. We have to open up our eyes and see that history is happening right now. The world is changing right now. And because of the lack of knowledge that we have and lack of curiosity, really, I feel like we don't even know that we are chained. We're in a much better position than I would say the rest of the world, as far as women's rights and progressive behavior and all of that. But I just think it's like so many women are unaware of how they are being tamed and chained in society. And so like I feel like the majority of us feel like, how could we possibly help? You know what I mean? But we totally can. And I think that really starts with looking at it and not judging it and not assuming that you know why women cover their hair and you know why women don't go to school in other countries. Like that's just, you know, it's like you can't assume. You've got to ask the question, well, why?
Yeah.
And like, and
start
not
a conversation. Just have an empathetic, compassionate conversation.
right.
Yeah.
Of no judgment.
Yeah, with no judgment, and just ask questions and listen.
That's
I think
beautiful.
holding space for other people is really, really, we think of it, a lot of us think of it as like, oh, I'm giving my time to hold space for you. No. You know, actually, you're receiving a lot in that moment when you hold space for somebody. It is it's a reciprocation of energy. And so you're absolutely right. Being curious, having questions, having conversation, not assuming what the other situation is, and not dumping one's expectations or judgments upon the other.
Right.
What I also see happening is like, oh, I'm gonna help you if in return you help me this way, or like I will sponsor X amount of women to go to school if it looks good for my publicity. Like, it's not about the game. What it is about is the united effort to free all of us, to start to accelerate towards the new earth consciousness, to start to really be one with everybody. You know, in America, like, racism is such a, you know, prominent discussion. Oh, I'm this color and I'm that color. And it's just so crazy to me that, like, what? Like, we're still talking about the color of our skin?
I know.
Like,
It's
are you
ridiculous.
kidding me?
It is ridiculous.
You gotta be kidding me, man.
It's sad. It's a distraction from the bigger things.
Yeah.
You know? So, wow, Saleha, you're incredible. I want to wrap up with this question.
Okay.
Okay.
You're incredible. I love you so much.
I love you too. Oh. Okay, so Saleha, I want you to imagine that you're on an elevator
Okay.
and you see a little girl.
Okay.
Okay? At that moment, you feel inspired to give her your best advice. What is one thing that you want her to know, and how would you like her to feel after having met you?
I want her to know that she's the most beautiful gift this universe has given to the world. And I want her to continue to fulfill all of her desires. And I want her to not take anything that anybody else says seriously.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Incredible. This liberated woman in front of me
Thank you.
who gives me so much inspiration and inspires me to be more in my power and know myself deeply. Like, you unchaining yourself have shown me that I in some ways have been tamed. And so I just want to thank you for coming here today and sharing your amazing story and your amazing mission with us. I love you, Saleha. You're amazing.
Thank you so much, Heidi. Thank you so much. I'm so humbled. Thank you. It's not me. It's all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.